Nice to meet you.
I've been sitting here reading this thing and writing notes. Okay, everyone, it looks like it's 3 o'clock p.m. Mr. Goldman, how are you, sir?
Hello.
Let's get started here. It's a little after 3. We'll call the meeting to order and we'll do the roll call. Commissioner Rosas is here. Use your mic on. Oh, sorry. Been out of practice. So Commissioner Process is here. Commissioner Hill is here. Vice Chair Scooby is here. Councilwoman Arms is here. Our student representative Grant Niehaus is here. Marina, you're here. Louis, you're here. And I am here. So I guess we're all here except for the one vacant person who hopefully will be filled sometime soon. Okay. First order of business is to approve this agenda. Looking for a motion to approve today's agenda.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we'll approve the agenda. All those in favor? Aye. The agenda is approved. Okay, now let's move on to the approval of the November 10th Marina Advisory Commission meeting minutes. Hopefully everyone has gotten an opportunity to review this. There was one issue that I saw, and it was about the safety site plan. Charlie, do you have any update on the safety site plan?
Yes, the safety site plan is still in progress being updated. I was going around the other day making sure to verify all the locations that were on the previous plan for all things, from AED locations, first aid kits, to the float rings, the ladders and whatnot. Did you have a specific question?
No,
about
that was
minutes,
that one's kind of front burner, I thought, and I was wondering if we had any progress on that.
We've made some progress,
Okay.
but it's not completed yet. Like I said, locations have been verified. We've got the software that we were waiting on at the time of the last meeting to make changes to the overall map, and so it's just a matter of making those changes.
Okay, very good. I will point to my own failings here. I had promised to meet with the harbor master about the pump out boat issue, but I've been in San Diego for the last 3 weeks, and I did not have an opportunity to do that. We'll bring that up again later on today. Let's see. Does there anybody have any other comments about the minutes of the last meeting? Is there a motion to approve the minutes as submitted? Very, very good. Yeah, very good. It has been moved and seconded that we approve the commission meeting minutes of November 10th. All those in favor? Very good. Okay. Today we have one member of the public here. Do you like to make a comment, Mr. General Public?
Public member number 1, Mike Bovich.
Very good.
No comments today.
Very nice. Did we get any electronic comments? Nope. No electronic comments? Okay, we'll move on then. Okay, the first discussion action, presentation and report items. The first order of business is I've been instructed that we're to withdraw the motion from last meeting that addressed the student representative and the commission makeup. And is that correct, Michaela? Did I get that right? Oh, I have to remove that?
Yeah.
Withdraw that motion?
Good afternoon. Is this mic on? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Mikhail Finkel, Executive Services Coordinator. I'm here to talk with you about the bylaw revisions that you addressed last month. And yeah, there were a couple items. The student position is actually set by the uniform rules for advisory boards. So it is included in your bylaws, but it's adopted by ordinance by City Council. So it's not something that you can change in the bylaws. So that was why we were asking or coming to explain that it's something adopted by City Council ordinance. So in order to change that provision, it would take City Council amending those uniform policies.
Byron?
Well, you know, the same thing happened last year. We were presented with all these things, and we were, I mean, are we just supposed to rubber stamp this and say we approve? Or can we make recommendations to the city council to change things?
We will take the recommendation into consideration. At this time, we're not working on changing those uniform bylaws, so the next time we look at those revisions, we could take a look at that area.
Well, I would move
So-
that we make that recommendation.
Yeah, we did make that recommendation,
did,
yeah, and there were two issues, and one I think is and if I don't mind, Grant, if I point to your situation, Grant lives in Coopville, however, he does attend Oak Harbor High School because his mother is a teacher there. So, I mean, that should not preclude him from serving on this commission. So as, you know, he's interested, he's involved. He does go to Oak Harbor High School, and I just think it's kind of beyond the pale that, you know, he should be removed from the commission because he just doesn't happen to live within the city limits of Oak Harbor because his mother is employed at Oak Harbor, the school district. The second one is we had moved that we would look into changing the wording of the commission makeup as it pertains to the two non-resident and non-tenant members of the commission. It didn't make sense to me to have vacancies because we didn't have anybody who fell into that category when we had interested and concerned marina tenants or Oak Harbor citizens who wanted to be on this commission and had something to offer. I could see very easily changing that to be someone takes a one-year position until we had someone who actually filled the criteria as outlined in the bylaws or in the ordinance. I would still like to see that go forward. It doesn't make sense to me to withdraw the motion at this point.
I can tell you, back in 2023, when we revised this and we went from a 5-member board to a 7-member, there was a lot of discussion, and they wanted to diversify the board, and that is when we added the 2 residents, so that they were non-customers, especially with all the changes happening at the marina, the future of the marina. That was a discussion point, was having some diversity on the board.
Sure, and we questioned it at that time, too. We questioned it in this forum, that why would we have people who were not customers of the facility on the board? And the answer was, well, you'll see in the forthcoming year. Well, we haven't seen anything in the forthcoming year, not to be overly critical, but it just doesn't make sense to me to have vacancies on the board when we have interested and qualified people who want to serve.
It sounds like we don't have the power to amend the bylaws, but we can make recommendations. So really what we need to do is amend our motion to be a recommendation and not an amendment.
Yeah, so the makeup of the board, like I said, there's uniform policies for the boards, and then each advisory board, their makeup as far as their membership is a different chapter of the code. So that is also adopted by ordinance. So it's carried over into the bylaws just as a copy, but through the bylaws, you cannot change either of those provisions.
Okay. We gotcha.
Okay.
Well, we understand, I think.
Okay.
Okay.
Brian Smith.
Hi, Brian.
Oh,
Who can unmute him?
Hi, JJ. Yeah, if I may, I did speak with the city administrator about Grant's situation specifically, and she is going to look in and talk with the mayor about making an exemption for Grant, who has really been a stellar youth representative for this commission.
Well done, thank you. That's good. Byron, please.
well, can we still, I mean, we still should be making a recommendation, I think, that these be looked at and changed when it comes around again, don't you think? I mean,
I would agree
Well,
that we would like for the city to look at this and see, does everybody concur? Are we in concurrence about that?
And our student representative can be how old?
I don't know.
Oh,
Has
It
to
says
be-
attends high school.
High school.
so if our student representative is 18, then is our student representative a student, or is our student representative a citizen? And either way, we want to keep him. But, I mean, if we're getting down to the little nitty
Yeah,
gritty.
I don't understand the nuance there, to, quite frankly, but I think I'll go with Brian's, he's going to speak, the city administrator will talk to the mayor about about Grant's particular case, and maybe we can proceed further and make that minor modification as we go down the road. But I would also like to proceed with filling the vacancies. So that I think that's important.
And I think it's important to note that since these bylaws have been adopted with the requirements for each seat, I don't think we've filled every seat.
No.
It just hasn't happened.
That is true. That is true. Okay, so can we just, we can just pass on withdrawing this motion. I would like to see the motion stay the way it is and go to city staff for further guidance and instruction. Does
Yeah.
that sound reasonable to everyone? Okay, so be it. Okay, thank you. Are you going to hang around? Okay, thank you. All right, let's move on to the MAC vision, mission statement, goal, and action item review. I think everybody probably got through that one. That was a long document. So let's, does anybody other than me, have any notes about this? Anybody?
I do.
Okay, yeah, Byron, please.
Just on just one thing on the mission statement, it says vision is to set the standard for transparent, informed, and forward-thinking advisory leadership that ensures the marina remains a safe and sustainable blah, blah, blah. I think we can't really ensure that. It's the mayor and the city council that can ensure that, and I think we ought to say that assists the mayor and the city council to ensure that.
Yeah, that would be a good change in the wording. Which section do you remember?
This is just in the vision statement
In the vision
for the
statement?
MAC. Marina mission statement, vision.
Yeah. So I see which one. Do you want to, let's see, how would we do that? You want to add certain language?
Yes, yeah, I would propose that we add after leadership that assists the mayor and city council to ensure the marina remains safe and blah, blah.
Okay. Kim, are you getting that?
Yeah, I got that.
Okay.
It's just the mayor and city council, and then I get figured off.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then what I don't see under goal items or action items is make recommendations to city council regarding these things. I think that's something that we should be doing regularly, and it should be documented here.
Gabe, would you want to put some language together for that? We'll include it and send it to the city.
I should have kept quiet.
You should have kept quiet.
I think goal items.
Yeah, you don't have to do it right now.
Okay.
If you just want to.
I'll work on that.
Okay, thanks. I appreciate it. Okay. Let's see, and that's all, that's the, and the vision, mission statement, goal, and action items. The next part was the best management practices. I know there was a lot of stuff in there. Let's see. Again, I'll kick my dead horse too in here in section 6 about the sewage and gray water management. They struck the sentence that said the marina provides slip-side pump-out service once a week upon request at no cost to all marina tenants with holding tanks. To request a slip-side pump-out, please contact the marina office. I would suggest that we do not strike that sentence, but modify that sentence to indicate that marina provides slip-side pump-out services on or as required upon request, at no cost to the marine attendant, with holding tanks and pump-out facilities that are in serviceable condition. So that it puts the burden on the boat owner to make sure that their pump-out is working correctly, or their pump-out deck fill is working correctly, and it doesn't put the marina in any, it puts the burden on the boat owner to make sure it's right.
Is that why they struck it? The concern of?
No, it was struck because they don't want to do it. And it was in the best practices at one point. Now it's been removed. And I would advocate that we put it back in with some caveats. Yeah, Charlie.
If I may, to clarify, the issue was when it was in place, it required two people all day to provide that service. That's when it was in place.
Sure.
And that we no longer wish to do that because it created problems within the marina's tenants where people were not taking care of their boat correctly or taking care of their sewage systems, therefore trying to blame the marina for their stuff not working. So it wasn't from a simple, we didn't want to do it. It was from a standpoint of mitigating any kind of liability associated with it, and because the amount of labor required to perform the task was impeding our ability to get done other maintenance tasks that were more pressing at the time, and continue to be. I cannot imagine the marina at this time, with what I've seen since I've been here, having the manpower to provide this service now on a weekly basis, even if people do have their equipment in working order. It would require more staffing on the marina's part to provide that service.
Okay, I'll take that at face value, but everywhere I go, there's one 18-year-old kid in a pump-out boat that can do it in each boat in like 10 minutes. So that we can make this work, and it should not take two marina salaried employees an entire day to, there are what, 18 liveaboards in the marina right now, and maybe another half a dozen boats that might want pump out on occasion, not on a weekly basis. I cannot imagine for the life of me that it would take two marina employees, skilled technicians, an entire day to do that.
If I may, sir, my
Sure.
comment was to clarify
What
the
happened
reason
before.
why it was no longer done.
Gotcha. I got you,
It's-
Charlie.
I'm not trying to
I'm with you.
defend
So
anything.
I would hope that we can at least come to some acceptable wordage in that, rather than just strike out saying we're not going to provide a pump-out service.
Is there a way we can keep it alive while we figure out how we could get it to happen? Because I think it's an essential service that should be offered at that marina.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm sure that, I mean, we're only talking about a document here. We can recommend that we change this particular section 6, to reflect, to not strike out that line. And we can continue the process of trying to get this to work. Yes, Byron?
Yeah, I would just like to point out that on another page, when it says method of sewage disposal, it says down here near the bottom, it says the Oak Harbor Marina offers weekly dockside pump-out service free of charge. If you would like your holding tank pumped,
Yeah,
please contact the marina office.
that was in the policies, procedures, and general operating.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, there is a conflict in the two, between the two best practices and the policies and procedures. So we have to get to some solution to that. So, all right, anything else? We're kind of beating a dead horse about this one. Yeah. Anything else? I had some comments on the electrical responsibility code. Anyone else share those same concerns about the level of the power cords and what has to be done? Anybody get that deep into the document?
Well, we'd be interested to hear what you got.
Oh, come on, I can't be the only one reading this stuff. Okay. The whole, it's section 11, the Voters Electrical Responsibility Code. This is really important, and I'm really happy to see that this was added. Charlie, you know what I'm talking about here. About the shore power cords. We see, you can't walk around the marina without seeing somebody's got his home extension cord plugged into a power box. And that is so dangerous. I mean, maybe not so much in saltwater, but it is inherently dangerous to anyone who's working in and around the marina and in the water in more particular. So I was really happy to see that was added, and it's very extensive. And I believe that well done. Kudos to whoever put that in there. That's really good. Let's see. Was there anything? No, that was all I really wanted to say about the Electrical Responsibility Code. Anybody have any comments about that?
Oh, I thought you were going to complain about
No,
the
no,
items. I thought they were unreasonable.
It's well done. Incredibly well done.
My comment would be that this information needs to be other places besides this document.
Yeah.
Because
you're right.
I don't know. I think this is the first time I've read it or seen it. And I think it should be kind of at the head of the doc. It should be in the newsletter, things like that.
That's a really good suggestion, Charlie. Let's bring that to the harbor master, because that's a good section that was put in there about shore power cords and why they are like they are.
I think it would even be good to have, if Marina staff sees an issue, maybe putting some kind of tag on it, like, hey, come talk to us about this. We can help you make it right. Not like penalizing people necessarily, but just saying, we noticed this is dangerous.
Well, they do. The marina staff's really good about removing those cords because they are dangerous. And they need to come out immediately. And when I see them, I call the marina staff, let them know.
Glad you're on it.
Yeah, I'm on it. I'm down there all the time, anyway. Okay, let's move on to the next one, the policies, procedures, and general operations update. I had one comment about the launch ramp. I don't know if anybody else saw this about the commercial use of the launch ramp. Did anybody see that? Let me see. I forgot what page it's on. I think it's, is it what it is? Where was I? Come on. Yeah, you're right, Charlie, Louis. It was, but then it's section, it was section 10, then it became section 6, for those who read Roman numerals. And then I noticed there is a section, 16, 17, 18, that talks about commercial fishermen and crabbers. But the first part is the launch ramp. And they struck out the word that said commercial use shall be limited and any damage caused by commercial users will be repaired at their expense. Not exactly sure why you would strike that line. Anybody have any idea?
That seems kind of counter to what
It
we were
does.
moving to try to bring more.
We're back here in
To the marina.
page 27. Yeah. Charlie, you have any idea why that was struck?
I cannot comment to why
Okay.
it was struck. I know that it is our policy at the marina to not allow that because of what paid for the launch ramp being recreational funding.
Right.
And so commercial was not intended to be a part of that system. I don't believe it was designed to handle heavy commercial loads. It was designed to handle recreational use only.
Right.
So I believe the crossing it out is to make point of that. But that doesn't mean that it can't change in the future, but that would be a bigger discussion than what we're having.
Yeah, and
I
it
think,
goes
currently.
down to an item, bullet number 6 in that same section where it says commercial users shall yield to recreational users that want to launch or retrieve their vessels.
So on that, it's We will allow commercial people to launch their boat.
Right.
They don't have to go to another marina to launch their boat. But like having crabbers actively offloading their catch on to that ramp to take it up to the shore side is not allowed. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It makes sense. But I was just surprised. I would hope that we would unstrike out that first sentence that talked about commercial use. Okay. Okay. Does anybody have any further questions on? Was anybody able to read the mortgage termination survey? Okay. Yeah. Sure, Marina.
Okay, I have to me, there's kind of a discrepancy in the individual guest mortgage section. It allows guest mortgage for 7 days.
Right.
It allows people to do that. On page 18, the tenant guest, if you have a tenant and a guest staying on board your boat, they can stay only 2 out of 7 days. And then a tenant wanting to stay on board, on page 17, staying board, can only stay 3 out of 7 days. And to me, that just strikes me as not equitable. Because if a individual guest mortgage for a guest person can stay for 7 days,
Yeah.
somebody who is paying for their slip 365 days a year can't stay on their boat for the same amount a tenant, a transient
Yeah,
could?
you're right.
That doesn't seem
That
equitable.
doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but I would just task you, please, if you would just change the wording and submit it to Elise and Charlie.
Sure, no
And,
worries.
because this is a living document, this is not required by statute that this be done.
Correct.
So
Yeah,
it-
so.
The idea being is that because we do not want to allow for liveaboards, somebody who is coming to our marina who gets holed up in the weather because of a storm system or something has more leniency to a certain degree. They are paying a much higher rate for their guest mortgage than for what the tenants pay for a 30-day month-by-month or yearly contract. But the theory behind the yearly contract and even the month-by-month is that you're staying aboard your boat for, say, a weekend. So 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and not Friday, Saturday, Sunday of 1 week, then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of another week, so that they're staying 6 days in a row. That's not the heart of what we're trying to accomplish there. We're trying to not have liveaboard situations. So the bottom line is that if you're paying the higher rate, you can stay 7 days. I haven't asked the question of Elise of what the theory is between the 3 days for a guest or for a tenant and only 2 days for their
Yeah, but
guest.
that
I don't know
really
that
doesn't
one.
make sense. I have to agree with Marina, because, if my grandchildren come and invade my house and Kathy and I want to get away, and, well, we can just go to the boat and hang out for a couple of days while they take over our home. I shouldn't have to leave, I shouldn't have. It doesn't make sense. We can come up with a more artfully worded.
Yeah.
We could
If
come
I
up with
may-
wording for that.
Yeah, go ahead.
So my thought is that, granted the higher mortgage rate for a tenant, for a transit, got that. But I would say that doesn't equate to what I pay for 365 days
sure,
a year.
Yeah.
And I can work on wording where if the intent is not to have liveaboards, I would submit that being able to stay on your boat for a 7-day period in a month is not a liveaboard.
Yeah.
Why not change the frequency to month? That way, you
I
know,
don't even need, I'm not even sure, Louis, that we would need to even identify a period of time, quite frankly. I understand that, we're limited in the number of liveaboards, but, it's not a liveaboard situation. We're not identifying as a liveaboard if we just want to, if our floors are being refinished in our home, and you just want to get out,
Well,
you know, for free.
I do
The
think that we
issue-
do need to have some constraint on it.
Yeah,
To prevent the.
we have to draw the line somewhere.
Yeah.
And grant, and 100%, anywhere we draw the line, that line will be pushed. So, like the example I demonstrated earlier, if it's supposed to be 3 times in a 7-day period, but not consecutive periods, then you're going to find the people who are trying to stay on, well, this is day 6. And at some point, if you grant it for a week, you're going to have people who are trying to, well, I've actually been down here for 2 weeks because it was the last week of last month and the first week of this month. And anywhere where you draw that line, you're going to find people who are trying to exceed it as much as you can.
Yeah, Byron.
Well, the thing that struck me as being particularly silly about this was it defines staying aboard as 6 hours in a 24-hour period. So, I mean, I can think of a number of times where I've had a project and I'm working on my boat and it takes 3 or 4 days and I'm down there 10 hours a day for, that's really silly.
I would hope, Marita, you can come up with something.
I'll work with you
reasonable.
guys on this and try to come
Yes.
up with something that's equitable, but I do think that it needs some equity here where the people who are supporting the Marina all year should have the latitude to be able to stay, as he said, refurnishing your floors or whatever, for a period, but constrained so that we don't have liveaboard scenarios going out of control.
Yes.
I see this as being a little capricious. Who is monitoring if I get off at 5.5 hours or 7 hours? Who's keeping track of where I sleep at night? Because we're over that.
I'm not sure we have to turn this into something it's not.
So my thought is, when we renew our contract, we identify where our address is, that we live in town or Montana or somewhere. And that proves that you have another address, you're not living on your boat.
I think the Marina needs to have the power when there's a problem to stop that problem from continuing.
Yes.
Agreed. Agreed.
And I realize that that's a challenge to make it fair so that nobody is being singled out, but also giving the Marina the power to deal with problems. That's really what this rule is for, right? It's not to penalize Byron for working on his boat. No one's doing that. But it's a tricky thing to write wording around.
It is, and I have utmost confidence in Marita that she'll get it right. That she'll get it right. So, okay, let's move on. Does anybody have anything else that we can move on?
Just
Go ahead, Byron. Yes.
under the thing, let's see, where was it now? Vessel maintenance. Oh, yeah. The thing about doing vessel maintenance, it was very confusing. It talked about, I couldn't tell whether waxing, polishing, and stuff like that was, but it said you could only do a maximum of 25% of your boat every year. Now, it may not have, it may have been trying to define waxing as polishing as being something other than what they were talking about, the 25% restriction, but I couldn't figure it out.
Do you remember what page you're on?
Yes, under vessel maintenance, wherever that is, and I think, 8, okay. Oh, 18, was that back in the, oh boy. Yeah. So the wording was really weird. It says vessel owners are permitted to perform normal upkeep on their vessels while moored. The limit for in-water repairs and refinishing is to the deck and superstructure of the vessel. This work will entail an annual maximum of 25% of the area, in which case marina best management practices are mandatory. And then it says examples of normal upkeep include washing, polishing, oil changes. So I guess, does that exclude washing, polishing, and oil changes? That didn't seem to be.
Yeah, it's not worded well.
I mean, because if we're gonna limit waxing and polishing to 25% of the area every year,
My back will appreciate it.
It uses two terms. One is in-water repairs, and then the other one is normal upkeep.
Okay.
And maybe
That's
these need to
probably
be
what-
two,
Yeah, I saw that too.
two paragraphs.
Yeah.
This is another thing where we all know what we're talking about.
Yeah, we do.
but
We do. But yeah, Charlie, you might want to look at the wording in that section.
I have it in front of me.
Okay, thanks.
Yep, I do think that the spirit of that is, if you're doing in-water repairs.
Right.
Completely stripping down your deck to, a wooden deck, whereas the oil changes and, washing, polishing, routine engine is what the first part of that sentence refers to. We are permitted to perform normal upkeep on their vessels, and that normal examples of normal upkeep include XYZ. Major repair work or outfitting, spray painting, sandblasting, welding, burning, or any other work that would impose a hazard or inconvenience to other tenants or not meet EPA standards is not permitted. So, yeah, I can see where better wording would make that less clunky and more clear.
Gotcha.
And then I just have two other ones.
Yes, sir.
One is we say we limit liveaboards to 18. It doesn't say whether that's 18 people or 18 boats.
I thought it was 18 boats. It's supposed to be 18 boats, is it not, Charlie?
I would have to
Okay.
double check that.
Yeah, I think it's 18
We
boats.
might ought to specify which one it is.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And just one other very minor one, vessel identification, it's on page 18. There are two absolutely redundant paragraphs there. Number 1 and number 2 both say exactly the same thing, I think.
Well, if you take out the word state, it doesn't, it's not the same.
State or Coast Guard.
You could say just Coast Guard, document, not registered, but documented vessels.
Documented, yeah, but you still have to have a, you
A
still have to
valid
have a valid
state registration, sure, yeah.
yeah.
Trying to figure out what I read this, and I was trying to figure out why, what they were trying to, what the differentiation
I would
was
just,
supposed to be.
yeah, I would just cross out number 1, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, I would, Charlie, it looks like for me, you could probably take out bullet point number 1 or 2, either one.
Can you make sure I'm on the right page?
Page 18.
Page, okay, we didn't leave the page. Gotcha. Okay.
That's not only remember if documented vessels are not required to have their.
They can't have the number displayed,
No.
but they have to have the state registration.
They have to have
detail.
straight registration sticker, but they
Yeah.
don't need to have their
No, and they
number
shouldn't have
displayed.
it,
That's
no.
right, yeah. So it looks to me like you could take out either 1 or 2. But having both,
yeah, right,
having
yeah.
both is redundant.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yep. I've made a note.
Okay? All right. Anything? Yeah.
On page 4, going all the way back to best practices, minor cleaning in-water hull cleaning. Are we putting the divers out of business with?
Oh, no.
No.
It says further in the document that divers are allowed. The only, the question was blade of paint. Any soft or sloughing of blade of paint can't be cleaned in the marina.
Right, okay.
So, and that was in the best practices. Okay. Anything else? Boy, that's a lot of time on that document. Yeah, it is a lot of document. The last one that I want to get to there is that the moorage termination survey. Was anybody ever able to read this thing? Maybe I'm just.
Yeah, what really surprised me was I couldn't see that anybody complained because they didn't have enough water to.
Yeah, that's
you know,
true. Yeah.
I was really surprised that we don't have people leaving the marina because their boat's sitting in the mud. Their boat's sitting in the mud. Yeah, honestly, I don't have water. I mean, that's the reason we
Anybody have any comments about this? I thought it was kind of I joke about not being able to read it, but I couldn't read it on my phone, but I could read it in this. But it's kind of interesting.
Yeah. I do have it as a PDF file. I can email
Yeah.
it to anybody.
I thought it was pretty interesting. Okay, let's move on. This is subcommittee updates. Did the subcommittees meet this while I was in San Diego? Okay, Kathy, you want to give us yours?
Sure. We met, and we thought that we would like to now try to have the tenants meeting on January 16. And
Jan 16.
Elise was going to get in touch with with the city, because we gave up on having it at the yacht club, rather to have it here where we can stream it out to people.
Okay.
And we definitely would want that done. We definitely want people to sign in. We definitely want to have some sort of refreshment and cookies, that level of refreshment,
Okay.
not a sandwich. Once we get the date verified, then we want to have Island Transit scheduled to make a run from the Marina parking lot up here, so people can park.
And would they wait here and take people back? Yeah, Councilwoman.
They can't do it. It's an on-call service, and they stop at 6. And
Oh,
there's no
bummer.
exception for anybody, because I talked to Celine, and she said, no, they will not.
Why was the yacht club there?
Because we
You
can't
can't live stream
live
it.
stream it,
But
so
you
the
wondered
whole
how many-
bus
yeah.
goes.
Is that live stream something we absolutely have to have?
One of the main things that we were talking about was actually just having the recording. So people that didn't realize it was happening or couldn't make it could go back and see what happened.
That makes sense.
Just because we expect this hasn't happened in a while, a lot of people aren't going to make the first one. So we want you want to be able to say, here's the link for the video, go and see what happened at the last one so you make the next one.
That makes perfect sense. Although it's really easy, people can either just park where their boats are and just walk to the yacht club.
Yeah.
So we would not be able to do a recording at the yacht club? I mean, I understand live stream, no, but
I'm sure we could do a recording. Someone could set up their phone, but to have city staff set that up and have it on city stuff, it would have to be here, is our understanding.
Okay.
We spoke briefly about what the agenda would be, and we kind of played with the idea of what if it was, we all know what we want to tell people, what we want them to know. What if we just had a question and answer time so they could ask their most burning question, get their answer,
Yeah.
and towards save a little time at the end of the meeting to sort of sweep everything together? That would be your job.
My job. Yeah, you're
We-
absolutely
we
right.
assigned
You're
that, yeah.
absolutely right. And that, we would certainly have to do that. Why have a meeting if we're not going to take input from the people we're meeting with? So, I mean, the intent was to get information out, to let them know, Brian had a great plan about talking about where they are in the dredge phase, and maybe Mr. Goldman, we could talk about how it's being paid for and where the money's coming from, but you're right, we need to take input from them, because there are going to be issues about the marina that we're painfully and blissfully unaware of.
And I would be excited to hear what it is that's the most burning
Yeah,
questions,
yeah, I concur, yeah. So let's press
Good.
ahead if we can do
we
January 16th.
can do that. We also talked about having
Stop it.
somebody buy banners to hang down the main dock and on the fuel dock for the time periods when the flowers aren't hanging there, so that the docks have a little more festive atmosphere. So we're trying to catch up with maybe the Arts Commission or some benefactor who would want to buy all those. It's probably in the range of $1,500 to cover the whole deal. So we talked about that. Newsletter due date has to be submitted next time on the 22nd of January? That doesn't even make sense.
It would be the 22nd of December.
Yeah. For the January newsletter.
Yeah.
So we want to get things in that newsletter in thirds. So you hear about it, the next month you get some good information about it, and the next month you get a quick reminder.
Got it.
And to do that, we all need to keep it churning.
Okay,
That's us.
very good. Yes, Councilwoman.
Get back on hers. When I talked to Celine at Island Transit, the thing is, she said we really need a survey as to why we're not going to use Island Transit. What is the problem? Is it that it's inconvenient? Because if we let other people know that they can be on their boat, but then they can go other places, we might get more people to go. But she needs a survey of why you don't want to use it. Do you know that we have it? And Elise was talking about the PBY Museum. The transit does go to there automatically, but they can't stop where they want to because of the road. So when they stop, you're gonna have to do a little bit of walk to the PBY. So that was the other thing. So we really need to ask the marina tenants, why aren't they using this? Do they not know it? And encourage their friends to come and do it. And as far as the thing that Elise did, I think it's JJ. He's in charge of the art commission. I talked to him and said, Elise has sent you this. It goes through the park. So I let him know that it was coming. Where it is, I don't know. But anyway, I just talked to Celine on Saturday, and she needs a survey because we could get a full-time route if we have enough justification of why we need it.
I think you have to be clear in the fact that the only people who are going to use any sort of transit shuttle are transient boaters. Marina tenants aren't going to use it.
I realize that, but, okay, so you have friends, and you forget to tell them, I'm going to be out of town, but you can come, and you can see all these things. We need to encourage people that we have an asset to get you off the boat, and you just aren't stuck in the boat at the marina. We need to encourage more people to want to come, bring their boats, and fill up our slips during the main hour. They can go downtown, they can do all these things. But if we don't let people know that there's something else they can do, well, they're going to go to the places where they could, like Anacortes, get off the boat and go.
Mm-hmm.
So we're trying to encourage them to say, hey, we're worthy of your time, so.
As you know, I'm one of the strongest supporters of Island Transit, but I also feel like if they want to have something like a survey, that's in their court. They should do a survey. We can't survey on behalf of every organization in town. We don't have the manpower or the expertise to know what to even ask.
What we're trying to do is just do the marina tenants, to let them see how they feel about it.
Then they need to prepare it and request that we distribute it.
I will ask Elise when I see it.
Distribute
And the
it.
marina
I
tenants-
thought Elise was going to do something like that.
The marina tenants aren't the users. That's
I
not going
realize
to do
they're not
anything.
users, but, okay, this happened when we were at, in Anacortes, when they had the boat show. And there was a couple, he was over there, she was here, and I said, oh, they just come and stop for fuel, okay? And she said, oh, I didn't know we had an on-call service for the marina. So she runs back to her husband and says, oh, did you realize we just don't have to go for fuel? We can actually stay at the marina and go someplace else. That's what we're trying to get. It isn't about all
Well,
of
you know, the only good way to get that word out is the marina right now should be sending its update to Wagner's for the 26 Wagners, but I think the 26 Wagners is already in print.
Yeah.
And so unless I don't know whether the Oak Harbor Marina took out an ad in the 26 Wagners, and if they did, and it did not include the fact that there's on-call transportation, through Island Transit, then shame on them. Yeah, Marina.
So one other way to get it out there is when you look at the marina on Docwa,
Yeah.
Docwa has
Right.
all the attributes of what you can get there. That's another perfect place to stick it because most of the time people are making their reservations on Docwa. So that's another place.
And there's another alternative. If it's not in the 26 Wagners, Mark Bunzel, who publishes Wagners, would be more than happy to send out a new service at the Oak Harbor Marina. He would put it in his e-newsletter, say that there's a new service at the Oak Harbor Marina for those people who want to see the naval or the PBY Museum or whatever it's called nowadays. If you want to come to Oak Harbor, call up Island Transit and they'll take you there. We're not sure how they'll get you back, but
They will.
they'll take you there. Yeah, take you part way, leave you on the highway. But
Well, the other thing is what they're trying to do is get it to be a regular service. That's what they want, or input, because they need that input to justify why it can be a regular service. The bus comes at 8 o'clock in the morning and, whatever. And so we're just trying to get more people to come to the marina and to the city. So
much for
that's,
the consultant. Yeah. Okay, all right, let's move on from there. Okay, let's bring it up to the Harbor Master updates.
Yep, I've got 4 things to update you on, and first off is I'd like to again thank the crew. They've done a stellar job since I've gotten to know everybody there on the crew. It's an amazing group of people to work with, and being able to troubleshoot the variety of issues that come our way and reach effective and efficient solutions has been a real joy to work with. And so I wanted to make sure that I get that out first and foremost. I also want to let you guys know that we did get our recertification for the Clean Marina Act. This will be a 5-year time period. So that went through. The next thing is the oil spill ecology equipment grant. The grant was granted half of what their normal funding was going to be. And because of that, they're going to have to redo the application and funding guidelines. And so no timeline is currently given for those monies or those projects associated. That's unfortunately in limbo on the state's end of things. That's not, Elise is keeping her finger on the pulse of that, but this time that's the only update we can give. And then finally, so you guys are aware, we have done an interview for a candidate to replace the vacancy for the open tenant position. And currently that's, awaiting Elise's return. She'll be back in the office tomorrow. So if there's any questions or anything further on that, then she can fill you guys in then. And really, that's about it for the Harbor Master update. We've been working diligently on trying to keep them, keep going with the repairs that we've had. We've had a couple things that in the last month or so that have been a little trying, including broken water line, redoing some electrical stuff from the down power pole, light pole. But we're progressing quite nicely on our project list, and keep on keeping on. So that's
Wonderful.
what I've got for the Harbor Master update.
Good, thank you.
Are we getting reimbursed for the light pole from the vessel that did it?
That's a great question. I don't have the answer to that. You'll have to ask Elise tomorrow.
Okay. Before we get to the Marina Advisory Commission comments, Brian, are you still there? I want to ask Brian Smith if he's gotten any further update on the dredging project and timelines, perhaps. Brian, are you there?
Yes, and it's not a happy update. We did have a notice from McKenna Gilson with DNR that they have left DNR, And so they were our contact for the Marina project. The project has been reassigned, and so we're coordinating with Sean Carlson with DNR right now to get a status update on that. So I'll pass that along once that's received.
Okay, and that, the person that we're talking about, that was the consulting firm that was working with DNR?
No, that is the
The
staffer from DNR.
Got it.
And so DNR has reassigned that. We also, now that the government shutdown is passed, we are also waiting to hear from Loa Fisheries on when they feel they'll be able to clear that bottleneck that was created during the shutdown and give us at least a ballpark time frame of when we can expect that permit review to be completed.
Okay, are we still thinking perhaps September next year to start?
Right now, what we're hearing from those agencies is possibly by the end of the year. So that's still within the fish window, but we are getting pretty tight on time to make that. So Moffett and Nichols is hesitant to give us an exact time frame because those two agencies mostly are the ones we're waiting on, don't have a time frame yet for us. So we know it's going to be at least into late fall, early winter, around the end of the year. So no, I don't believe we're going to be able to make that September date, but that's just from what we're hearing. Once we have a staffer reassigned, we'll have a better idea of what we can expect for a time frame.
Great. All right, does anybody have any questions for Brian while we have him? Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate it.
I will say we're really going to try and push to get at least some kind of an idea. So when we have that, the meeting with everyone in January on the 16th, we can at least give them some idea of what they can look for.
Okay, very good. Mr. Goldman, I know you've been sitting there patiently. Do you have anything that for us today? It's good to have you here, though. Okay. Marina Advisory Commission comments. Comments? Anyone? Yes, sir.
You know, we're losing a valuable member of this commission. I think Gabe has found that he can no longer do it because of his work schedule. And I think we should look at doing these meetings in the evening. Once again, we used to do that.
Yep.
But yeah, if we're going to have daytime meetings, and probably the only people that can be on this commission are old codgers like you and me.
That's something we can look into. I preferred the evening meetings. I think it was easier for members of the public to get to. And, you know, when we have working members of the commission, it's certainly a lot easier. We can try to revisit that and see if we can make something happen with that. Yes, sir. Yes, Marita. Yeah. Okay. Thanks. Yeah. Let's take a look into that. Louis. Okay. Does anybody have any other comments? I have comment. Anybody got a chance to look at the monthly marina revenue and the occupancy? That is cause for great concern. You know, I forget what was our consultant's name that said that whatever his name, whatever is what it said that the marina revenue or rate increase would greatly increase our marina revenue in terms of moorage. Well, it clearly hasn't done that. We're at 70% occupancy now in November of 2025, and our revenue, marina moorage revenue, is lower. So it's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy. Other than that, you know, I was in San Diego, and I did get an opportunity to look at a couple of marinas while I was down there, and I am always so impressed, Charlie, about how well, you know, for as old as our marina is, and it's orderly and it's clean, and with the exception of certain things, the concrete cracks and stuff that you know we're not going to we have to deal with. The marina looks great, for an old marina. It really does look great. And it's a tribute to the staff and the people who work on it every single day. And I thank them every time I get a chance. So,
On behalf of the staff, I thank you.
yeah, but don't ever get past the breakwater and turn around and look back. Yeah, that's a really bad thing to do. Keep those future agenda. Does anybody have any other comments? Okay. Future agenda items. I mean, I think we're getting to the point where we're getting much more comfortable doing this. We need to start getting these future agenda items to me or Kim or Elise, just so we can get them on there, because I know there are things that we need to talk about. So let's get that stuff, because we walk around the marina almost every day, most of us. We know we see things that need to be addressed. So let's get those taken care of. Let's see. I think if anybody doesn't have anything else, the next meeting will be January 12th, which will be just a few days before the Marina Tenants meeting. So come with your ideas. Be prepared to engage. And when we send out 68 or 69 more pages, please read them. There's a lot of stuff in here that I didn't know. So it was kind of fun when you're waiting for a delayed flight to sit and read this stuff. Does anybody have any other comments? Gabe, thank you for everything.
Is this your last?
Yeah, this is my last meeting, right? And as I told Byron, it doesn't mean I won't ever come back to this.
Well, you can't come back. We
Okay.
won't let you. But we have to thank you, and next month I will make the official public thank you for all your service and
And I will
support.
definitely be at the tenants meeting, and I will come with lots of grilling questions.
Good, thank you. Thanks very much. Does anybody have anything else? I think we're adjourned. Thank you all so much.